Well, hello the internet and welcome back to episode 9 of Minecraft Creative, in which we are once again returning to the Starlight Express project. I believe this might be the final episode of the freight yard, which is fantastic. That will finally be one section down, and then we move on to working on the coaches and the other engines, because we have Mama and Rusty's sheds in this yard. I figured that kind of made sense. But yeah, this is probably the most effort I put into planning out one of the sheds. I actually wanted to try texturing this, so I started off by doing is that chiseled copper or something at the bottom, and obviously breaking that up with the slightly weathered version, and then I began with just a regular terracotta set of walls on top of that, and then broke it up with a little bit of mud, and I think there was something else in there, but I don't remember what. But yeah, I also did a very basic roof. I know I keep saying, oh yeah, I need to do more complicated roofs and actually learn how to do that, but for the purposes of this project, a lot of stuff is getting thrown to the side that I said I was going to try and do this year, because it's just not particularly feasible in terms of what I'm working on. And then I did Hydra's shed, and obviously Hydra is green, and I tried to pick out blocks that had kind of a hint of green to them, because there aren't any true green ones that I was a super big fan of for the majority of it. Again, doing a little border at the bottom, and then I had to go with a dark prismarine roof, because I didn't want to do black like a lot of the other sheds had, and I wanted it to be more green, and there wasn't really a contrasting colour on his costume, and I was like, putting a white roof is just too clean. And yeah, I then decided it makes sense if he had effectively the Minecraft equivalent of solar-powered lights, because his whole thing is saving the planet. I don't know why I'm yawning in the middle of talking. That's really unhelpful. So yeah, I then went and I filled in like all the stuff that was needed. This one doesn't have a chimney, because I figured he would find a less polluting way to cook food and stuff, and that, I mean, it does also mean less particles, which is probably good for my laptop. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, and then I made his racing helmet, and discovered, did I use a turtle shell? I think I used a turtle shell there, or maybe I didn't. What was I doing here? Come on, Ghost, figure it out. I must have done a turtle shell one. I don't know. We'll do a full tour at some point. You'll get to see all the helmets. I'm really happy I went and did the helmets. Oh, and then I had a wandering trader come in and had to try and get it out of the house. That was highly unhelpful, but it is what it is. Stop yawning. How is this video going so much quicker than the last one? To be fair, I do feel like I have more to talk about. Anyways, I then wanted to, once I finish the interiors of the sheds, and it's kind of my standard protocol with decorating. If you want to know that, go see just about any of my other videos. I talk about how I decorate things in there. And then I wanted to add some detail to the freight yard in a minute when I actually do it. I keep going to talk about it and then it just not happening. This is so unhelpful. Okay, fine. I added some little details in, like bookshelves and stuff, to Rusty's shed. Decreed it done, and then decided I'm going to add details to the shed. Like, so that was little things like, oh, let's throw down some redstone related stuff, and I've done more of it since. I don't remember what Hermitcraft video it was, but it was someone had discovered that you could put resin like clumps on stuff. So in a minute I have decided, here we go, I've decided to throw it around in places to make it look like someone was working on stuff back there, presumably Slick. I feel like that's the only character who'd necessarily do that. Barrels and all sorts to look like crates and oil cans and stuff that's just been left around and has been there for a long time, particularly stuff behind the shed. The idea of it is they border onto the scrapyard, so they just kind of get stuff dumped. But that also for me means I can add more into the place, whereas I imagine when I get onto like the coach's shed, that's not going to be so easy, because there's not just going to be mine carts used to transport goods in and stuff everywhere. It will just be nice and clean and pristine. I'm also saving the scrapyard till last, because one, I want to wait until the spring drop, because I very much would like to build the starlight sequence section before I work on that, so that any like tunnels and stuff I want, I don't then have to like change everything I've built, because I imagine there'll be a way. I imagine I'll build a way to get to it via the scrapyard. I'm not super sure yet. It is a bit of an up in the air project because I don't know exactly how like firefly bushes work. I know I'll probably use skulk, but I am toying with, I think it was whichever season of Hermitcraft they did Boatum. I think it was Boatum. The like night sky that Grian did. I am toying with doing something like that, but at the same time that's going to take so much effort. And while I'm sure it would be worth it, I don't know if I have the patience to dig out an entire space to do something like that. We'll see. If anyone knows any other suggestions outside of using like end rods and black glass and or skulk to do a night sky, without it being an actual night sky, do let me know. I am open to suggestions. But yeah, that basically brings us to the end of this video. I finished up the project for today by just doing some little bits of texturing into the walls, making sure it's not like super pristine, and that was it. So I will see you all again for episode 10 on Sunday. Goodbye, the internet.